Good, good morning and welcome. It's Monday and it's May 12th, the day after Mother's Day. And I hope all you lovely mothers had a beautiful day. And again, I am really happy to celebrate Mother's Day. It's a beautiful time to thank your mother for all they do. Now, you've reached a live stream here. And um, it is called Fight CPS, and I'm your host, Bob Pace. That's right, you heard me right, Fight CPS. It's an agency that in many cases have turned rogue, turned bad. Not all CPS is bad, but enough of them are bad enough they're causing a lot of problems with you all out there and with your cases. But it's a warm welcome because you're faced with a reality check of how to deal with a government entity that was mandated by Congress in 62 and directed to social services to protect our children from neglect and abuse and also do family reunification. Those are very important. Abuse, neglect, and reunification. They all go hand in hand. Unfortunately, there are parents that mistreat our children. Not only parents, it could be other people too. And it's a worldwide problem. It's not only a problem in the United States, but it's worldwide. So this show is a worldwide podcast. I'm on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and again on the weekend at 8 a.m. It's 7 nights a week at 7 p.m. They're 1 hour long live streams, and it's all at Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the west coast of California doing this live podcast. Now, 23 countries I've reached out to, including the United States. And of these 23 countries, I've talked to over 1,500 people, and it's been going on for 19 months. I started in October 23, and I do live streams, 14 live streams a week. Now, this is a very interactive live stream, meaning that you can participate in this live stream. I have several ways that you can. One is to text me a message. All you have to do is make a comment or a question, and it should pertain to CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, and your country. Also, tell me about your CPS case from beginning to where you're at the present. I want to help you. I'm a loving father and a husband. I'm not an attorney, but I care enough about you. I too was a victim of CPS. And I lost my 3 young children. I have 6 children that I've raised. One is in their 40s, 2's in their 30s, another 2 are in their 20s, and then I have 1 still left in the teens. I have 42 years of marriage experience, a lot of life skills. Now, another way that you can interact in this live stream is to be a guest. I can take up 9 of you at one time. All you have to do is email me, my show producer, Grace at vincentwdavis.com, with a date and time you want to be on a show. You just tell her I want to be on Bob's Saturday morning show or Bob's Wednesday night show, and she'll take care of the rest. She'll give you a link to an application I use called StreamYard. I'm broadcasting on YouTube. You found me by looking me up on Facebook, Fighting CPS. And that's how come you're here. So that's really good because you're trying to get help there. And I want to help you. I've developed 5 rules that will help you. I have an attorney I represent that's one of the best people right now to fight CPS. So I can save you a lot of calling, a lot of chatting around there because I got somebody to help you. Now, when she does send you the link, you get it and you get on the SteamYard and should tell you what to do and not to do and so forth on that. Now, another way is to call me. You can call me at 626-698-0990, and I'll be connected to my phone, and I'd love to talk to you about your case. The other number on the screen, the 888-888-6582, is the law office of Vincent W. Davis. And you can call in if you want to retain him. Right now, his retainer for LA County is $5,000, and he's $500 an hour is his law fee. And his background, by the way, Vincent W. Davis, is he has 39 years of fighting CPS. He's trained and educated in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those 3 areas of law is what you want to be in. You have to make sure the attorney has those 3 areas and has experience of fighting CPS. Vincent is also a trial attorney. He can do trials. Now, he once was in foster kid himself, so he knows all about the foster kid firsthand experience. But rule number 1 is you should get an attorney, because without an attorney, you will not be able to get your kids back. Fighting CPS is very complex. It's like open heart surgery. You need a professional doctor to do it. You need a professional attorney to do it. And you probably say, wait a minute, CPS gave me an attorney. Well, what they did to you, they hope you would use their court-appointed attorney or public defender because they know that their public defenders are not with the right background. They won't fight for your case. They're case loaded with 30 or more clients. They don't have time for your case. And they're not going to fight. So that's why you need a real attorney. And I strongly recommend that you at least get 2 more besides Mr. Davis. Now, if you live outside of LA County, California, let's say you live in another state, let's say you live in Georgia, the Atlanta area, I quoted the other day a couple $125,000. And you say, whoa, that's quite a rise from 5 to 125. Well, a lot has to do with per diem. When he has to leave the area, he's got his airfare, his ground transportation when he gets there, and then his hotel accommodation and food. Those are 4 things of per diem that he needs to cover when he goes out there, because he's not living at home where he can come home to his home and fix his own meal, or drive his own car. He has to rent a car to get around from the airport to the courtroom and back to the hotel. So anyway, you can call that 888-888, and when you speak to the reception there, make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. It's 6582, the last 4 digits. Same thing goes with Mr. Davis. If you talk to Mr. Davis, make sure you mention my name. And they can help you with a lot of things. Not only you can call to get an attorney, and if it's not an attorney in family law or juvenile law or dependency law, you can get another attorney into criminal law, divorce law, immigration law, real estate law, the workplace law, injury law. There's so many areas of laws that he has somebody there for you, so that would really work. That really would work. Now, the big hurdle that you suddenly come into is the hurdle of how do I pay for all this? You got yourself into this nightmare mess, and you want to say, well, how can I pay for it? That is really tough because it costs lots of money. And when you talk to 2 other attorneys to try to get the best attorney, and you do talk to Vincent Davis, it is hard. It is hard. Now, I have a way of helping you a little bit. And right now, by you calling in or being a guest, I can take up 9 of you as a guest. I can offer you a 15-minute free consultation via Zoom with Mr. Davis. That's a Zoom consultation for 15 minutes with Mr. Davis. And he'll gladly talk to you and answer your questions. You just make a list of questions and prioritize them. And he's the real deal. So I offer that to you um, free by either calling in or being a guest on my live stream. Now, if you want to talk longer, I do have a program that you can try out for 30 minutes. Um, to get 30 minutes with a private Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis, you would go to this website. And at the website, you would put in your credit card for $60 and then set up your 30-minute consultation with Vincent Davis. It's all at that credit side, and it's only going to cost you $60 for 30 minutes. So now I've told you 2 ways to get to him for free. Third way now to talk to him there. And I also like to tell you that he is also on a lot of times. He is also on a lot of times doing live streams like myself. Now, what you do is you call the office at 888-888-6582 and ask for the schedule. You ask for the schedule. And they can tell you the schedule when he's going to be on. And he will help you when he is there. Also, you go to the website at Vincent Davis, vincentwdavis.com, and that is the website. And you can find a lot of the information about him and what he does and everything on there. Now, there is a guidebook that Vincent Davis has put out, one of several guidebooks. This one here is the grandparents guidebook. It means that grandparents have a right to their grandchildren. It's a step-by-step guide for adopting your grandchildren, which is a good thing because I know grandparents really love their grandkids, and they sometimes are shot down by not having a chance to talk to them. And so this is a step-by-step guide. And you go to this website, stan.store, attorney Vincent WD, VWD, and you can get it. And you can get it for $9.99. Now, I have a half off special for 50% off if you use my discount code of PACE, all capital letters. Wow. And you can, at 50, it's PACE 50. It's capital PACE, capital P, capital A, capital C, capital E, 50. And you get 50% off $9.99. So less than $5. You can get this guide. It's a grandparents guide. It's step by step of how to do get your grandkids adopted. It's at the Stan store. That's all you need to go there. Now I'm going to put my phone number back up because that's important. Now you have the 2 phone numbers, and that is good there. And so it is tough where you're at, and I know I've been there. I've been a victim myself. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you and answer your questions or your concerns. Now, please send me emojis such as smiley faces, hearts, thumbs up, even stars. That would be nice. Also, please check the follow button. And if you want to be notified, check the notification button. Also, leave reviews too. That'd be nice. Yeah, we don't have our regulars in here. I usually have from 20 to 30 people that regularly are on my show and talk to me day to day. Some of you actually have court today, and I'm really curious how that went. There's a new gentleman that just hired Vincent Davis, named David, and he is from Santa Maria in Santa Barbara County. And his case is very horrible. He's got three accusations against him on three separate occasions where his daughter had said that he improperly touched her. Now, she's been seen by the doctor three times, and I told him to get his medical reports, but he hasn't. Um, he hasn't gotten them yet because they're trying a hard time to get them. So he has to have some way of subpoena the medical reports because he said they clearly show that he did nothing to his daughter. They examined her on three separate times. He has a son that's also with him. The mother's out of the picture, but the sister is trying to orchestrate. His sister is trying to be bad against him, which I think is really, really sad. It's really, really sad. Um, it's kind of slow. Monday is always at the beginning of the week, a slow week for us. Getting back after the weekend and after the Mother's Day celebration. Those beautiful moms out there. But I want to emphasize how important me to help you all. And I just was talking about Attorney Vincent Davis as one of the three candidates you can contact. The other two you'll have to do on your own because wherever you live, you want to do what my rule number 4 is the research on the internet. It's very important that your hierarchy words are used. You want to put the city followed by the state, and if you're outside the United States, followed by the country. Then after that, you want to put the letters CPS. And I'll bring you a lot of information for that city about CPS. But if you want to be more specific, like find an attorney in that city, then you're going to put after the letter CPS, you put in um, juvenile law, family law, dependency law, attorney. And you'll see a bunch of names come up. And there's where you're going to do your phone calling. All you have to do is call two of them because I got one of your candidates, Mr. Davis. And you got two more to call there. And what you're going to ask them is very important questions. The first question being, are you a juvenile law, family law, dependency lawyer who has fought CPS and gotten back children? If their answer is yes, then you can ask the next question. And the next question pertains to what you do when your case is over. You can file a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit against CPS for violations of your constitutional or civil rights. In my case, my social worker lied, and we could sue her. Now, Mr. Davis does this both in state court and federal court. He's done lawsuits there, and he's won millions of dollars. So he's a really good candidate for you. The biggest problem you're going to have is coming up with the money. Now, another way of creating money, again, is that I sold my home. It was important to get my kids back. Even though I worked 45 years, I lost my home at age of 65. I had to quick sell it to get the money from the quick sell to hire Mr. Davis because I wanted my family back. My boys and daughter were very important to me. Unfortunately, we lost our daughter due to the corruption of CPS retaliating. You don't think they will, they did. That social worker was caught perjuring herself in court, and she lied big time, and we had enough to go after her. But anyway, that social worker went to her daughter and coached her daughter of how to divorce from mom and dad, emancipate, and that's from her whole family. Not only mom and dad, it's her three brothers and two sisters, and on top of that, her grandparents, both sets. That's four, mom and grandma and grandpa, and then also her aunts and uncles and cousins. Divorced. That means she no longer is part of that family. And on top of that, she was told to change her name, and she gladly changed her name, and her name was beautiful. Her middle name was Hanalei, and it's in a beautiful place, named after a beautiful place in Kauai on the North Shore. Hanalei is my my lovely place. I love it. I love that place. It's really nice. And so we wanted our daughter was beautiful, so we thought it'd be a beautiful name. And sad, she's continued on with sealing her birth certificate, That means she doesn't think she was ever conceived by mom and dad. She was. She got a new birth certificate, a new social security card, was double dipping in my social security retirement. She was taking double payment. That was illegal. Social Security does nothing. They don't, social service, Social Security, and the child protection system have been really, I don't know what's happened. What's happened? But we do know they're being investigated by Doge, and hopefully they'll find their corruption and straighten it out. I really do. I really do. They hope they straighten it out. It is a hard thing to go through. It is. And I admire you guys sticking at it. It's been hard for me because I care, and that's why I'm here, is because I care about every one of you. And there's some friends I made in here, friends from South Africa like Leica. From California, I have Felicia, and then I have Margaret King, and Little Nugget. Um, there have been people in this room, like recently meeting Daniel, and another young man at 23 from Maine that has a horrible case. And a guy this past weekend from Mississippi was calling me about a very terrible, terrible case. He has a lawsuit pending or something like that, and he wants help. He really does. Um, I'm here to help you. There's lots of things we can talk about besides my rules. We can talk about, um, topics that are in the news. And we also talk about things that you have about your case. And all you have to do is call in. All you have to do is call in. Or be a guest on my show. Now, I received the latest news on Google about CPS. It's worldwide news about CPS. And here's the latest, and this is actually from Australia. Australia's child justice system is in a crisis. You know, I sit here in the United States and I talk to over 1,500 people, and it is a crisis. And Australia is too. A national evidence based response aligned with human rights and rule of law principles is needed to protect vulnerable children and keep our communities safe. Around the country, state and territorial governments are taking supposedly tough crime stances, which provide harsh penalties for children who commit crimes. An approach we already know does not work. Now, it sounds like their problem is that the children got out of hand. The problem with the adult time for adult crime rhetoric is that there's no proof this will make our community safer, but plenty of evidence it will irreparably harm the child and increase the potential of seeing a life of crime as their only option. Children are not adults, and approaches to criminal justice designed for adults are inappropriate to address alleged breaches of the law by children. Youth crime is indisputably linked to trauma and disadvantage, poverty, poor health, lower education, higher support needs. Many children involved are themselves victims of crime and neglect. First Nation children, children from low income family, children in out of home care, and children with disabilities are disproportionately affected by punitive response. Simply locking up children without looking for the root cause of the alleged offending and focus on how they can be supportive in rehab is a shameful society failure and a breach of international human rights obligations. Of course, there must be consequences. When a child commits a crime, it's important to acknowledge that children can and do engage in behavior that can seriously and harmfully affect their victims. And we just had Lenora Beatrice McDonald. Thank you for coming in to my live stream. She just texted a lengthy message here. It says we need to help 4 children, I guess, taken 6 years ago because we couldn't afford our own attorney. The oldest is now 12. She's been abused in their system. As soon as she told her mama, they stopped from taking. No one will speak to the mother. Want answer calls are now trying to terminate her rights. Nothing founded from the beginning. My email is beingdonna55@gmail.com. My phone number is 806-438-3443. And she is a great grandma. And since you've called in there, or you've texted in there, thank you for sharing. Could you tell us where you're from? Could you tell us where you're from, Lenora? That'd be great. But thank you for there. Now back to my stories here, my news. We're talking about Australia and how much the children have such a bad behavior thing. So that was something about children. Now here's the one, another one here. It's from West Virginia. And it's talking about the Department of Human Services set to begin child welfare listening tour. Charleston, West Virginia. Foster families, caregivers, providers, caseworkers, legal professions, the community will get the chance to voice their feedback on how to make the child welfare system stronger as part of the West Virginia Department of Human Child Welfare listening sessions. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. The hearings begin Monday evening with a stop at Valley Park and Hurricane. There'll be 8 stops between Monday and May 22nd. Each go from 6 to 8 p.m. Department of Health Service Secretary Alex Mayer says this gives the department the opportunity to get insight from those who dealt with the system head on. Well, this sounds really great. It's going to be really encouraging conversation, a real opportunity to get some real insights against the identification, but more important, getting solution from those experiencing things in all sorts of ways through the child welfare system. And that is really amazing what I'm hearing about there. There's no question about that. Another one here. Let's see where this is from. This is from Maryland, from Howard County. Howard County Executive Calvin Ball announces funding to expand kinship care and strengthen child welfare workforce. That sounds really encouraging. Kinship care. That's really important. Funding will also provide professional development support to children welfare caseworkers, the Maryland Department of Human Services, Howard County. Howard County, near Ellicott City, Maryland, Executive Calvin Ball announced a $122,000 investment in his upcoming fiscal year operating budget to launch a kinship care and family finder pilot program. This initiative, led by the Maryland Department of Human Services, Howard County of Social Service, DSS, focuses on locating and placing children and youth with relatives and trusted caregivers, known as KIN. This program will also reduce group home placement and improve outcomes for children and family in the child welfare system. The fiscal 22-6 funds will also be used to train KIN caregivers and provide the tools to ensure family success, improve placement decision, and increase the number of resource parents. It is important to provide our children love, support, and stability during challenging times. The roles of supportive adults play a significant role in a child's life, which is what makes this investment critical. By reducing group home placements, we're helping to improve outcomes for children and family in the child welfare program. Together, we'll remind our children that they are seen, loved, and have an important place in our community. So I like this idea of kinship care instead of foster care. It minimizes traumatic separation from their family and community, fewer behavior issues, improves physical health, and better academic outcomes. Well, read that further. You can read that further um, um, about that on your own. Okay, here's another one here. I think this one is from Connecticut. Um, Experts, Connecticut lack of homeschooling oversight invites child abuse. It's to the House Hartford Corrigant, but they want me to subscribe, and I'm not subscribing to that. But the statute requires that parents be able to show the child is elsewhere receiving. Huh. Now, here's a bad thing here. This is from the something news. It's a video that shows child care worker hitting a baby and laughing about it at the Infinity Education Center. Damaging evidence of child safety concerns has been exposed in one of Australia's largest for-profit child care company called Affinity Education. Between 21 and 24, Affinity centers in New South Wales were hit with more than 1,700 regulatory breaches, an average of more than one a day. Despite this, the New South Wales regulatory issued just 9 infringement notices, totaling less than $2,000 in penalty. And it's really sickening because it shows a child. Contains images that may disturb some viewers. Oh, it's so bad. It is so bad. Wow. It shows a caseworker, social worker, think it's funny by slapping a child in the face. She's not hitting hard, but it's aggravating the child. The child's in tears. That is sad. That is sad. Oh boy. I was directed here by my show producer to report latest news, and sometimes it's very distressing about that. I'm glad to hear about the number of incline of foster care because foster systems have been really bad. Now, this is from the imprint. It says number of youth in foster care declines again. The number of youth in foster care dropped by 6.9 in 2023, according to the new federal data released late last week. There are 343,077 youth in foster care on the last day of September, according to the Adoption and Foster Care Analysis Reporting System, which is a collection process which states information in the nation's foster care system flows up to federal court. That is 20% less than most recent peak of 437 in 2018. The consistent downward slope has been driven by lower entries into the system. Even exits from foster care have slowed somewhat. There was 175,283 entries in 2023, a decrease. Boy. The Trump administration announced a decline in a press release, prompting a more detailed release of foster care data. And this is across, the United States there. Even in Taiwan, there was a rally by thousands for a better child protection. You see, it's worldwide. It isn't just the United States. Here it is, student suicide highlights system failures in protecting abused systems. On May 6th, a third-party complaint was made to the National Child Protection Authority via the 109 hotlines claiming this encounter to contribute. Let's see what this further says, where it is. So in the Sunday Times, it's May 11th, student suicides highlight in protective abuse. Parents and supporters rallied outside a Colombo school this week demanding justice after a schoolgirl who accused her teacher of abuse died following months of official neglect and public shaming, including by private tuition institution owners. You know, some people want to eliminate child protection service. You don't eliminate it. What you do is you make sure it's run correctly. Now, Nancy Schaefer was a politician in Georgia who was murdered trying to protect kids from being abused by CPS. She advocated a complete new structure. I think we should go in there and, have a group, a watchdog group, either directors or supervisors, a board of them, and they should meet once a month and find out what's going on in their protected counties, in their state, and so forth. And we need to have supervision. We need to have, people held accountable for their actions. I noticed we're 47 minutes in the case. I've had Beatrice, the only one here that gave kind of a quick message here. Beatrice, we don't know where you're located. If you could share where you are, that'd be great. Again, my phone number is up there for phone calls, 626-698-0990. Okay, this is in a part of the world. The student of Ramata Hindu Ladies College in Burma Pita were preparing for the ordinary level examinations when she allegedly abused by her mathematics teacher. According to the police media division, a complaint was filed and the teacher was arrested, and then he was produced before the magistrate, the Arcade reprimand on January 10th. The next court hearing is. Um, this is terrible. I think this is in a school um, in India. I think it's what it is. And it's where a teacher is abused. You know, abuse goes on all over the world. It really does. It really does. There's all different forms of it, too. Here's one from Canada, Ontario, child abuse. You know, it's interesting why I have 23 countries, including the US, that have bad cases of this abuse. It really is. And, um, you know, there has to be a lot more education about child protection and abuse. A lot more education. You know, we just got an emoji from one of my listeners out there, and that is from Calix Cook. Hi there, and thank you for your emoji. It's very sad face, this one is. Um, I'm trying to find something that, oh, hello, Daniel Watt. So glad you dropped in. You've been kind of lonely. Um, how was your Mother's Day? And happy Mother's Day, Danielle. And I hope it's you're able to enjoy your 19-year-old son. I hope he did spend your time with you and did something fun for you on Mother's Day. And Custom Cook, again, thank you for the emojis. You're staring to all my groups who share great needs info. Thank you. How does a court system find a parent mentally unstable? Is there a testing? They do that a lot in CPS cases. They want to make sure that you're mentally. You see, CPS workers think um, they're trained and educated mental psychiatrists. They're not. They're not. And they try to prescribe drugs, medication that keep people dopey. It's unbelievable how social workers have so much free will to do what they say. Because they can make you unstable, then it's so easy for them to hang on to your kid, and it's easy to make that $1 trillion business. That's all it is about money. That's all CPS is interested in money. They're not interested in family, and that is the bad ones. Luckily, you do that. So, anyway, Danielle is from Georgia. Colex Cook, I think you're from North Carolina, right? I think you're from North Carolina. And so you guys are coming in, and there's about 4 minutes left of my show, which is okay. Because I'm again on at 7 o'clock tonight. I'd love to see you all again. Hey, I get a good memory, huh, Calix Cook? Calix Cook. I don't think you pronounce the M. I think you just say Calix. Is that how it's pronounced? Calix Cook? Anyway, Danielle Watt used to be one of my hosts on the live stream here, and she's from Georgia. And she has a special needs child that's over the age of 18. He's 19, I guess, going to be 20 soon. And he was lost in the CPS system, and she finally got him out of that. And she has adopted him. She's got actually a guardianship of him as well as her brother. Both individuals, her brother and her son, are special needs. And what's so nice about that is she's dedicating her life to take care of her son and her brother. She's a good, decent woman, and I admire you for that. And hopefully your Mother's Day went well because you're a deserving mom. And Calix Cook, I know you're a mom too. I don't know much about you. I'm starting to learn from you. I know you're from North Carolina and have a terrible case. But how can I help you, Calix Cook from North Carolina? Dorothy Cook. There we go. Dorothy Cook. That's right. And Danielle comes in every so often. She had a horrible life, and I'm just so glad she's turned it around. She has turned it around. She's a remarkable woman, and I appreciate what she has done and said and stuff. So we got some people in my room, some regulars too, because Calix Cook or Dorothy Cook's been in here before. Her YouTube name is Dorothy Cook, and her Facebook name is Calix Cook. And you need to refresh me about your case, Calix. I can't remember it. I cannot remember it. I know Danielle's case because she's been with me a long time. So it's good to see you. And I was trying to read news, but the news is very distressing. Whether you're in India or Australia or Connecticut or Maryland, it was just bad news all the way around. There's a one up in Ontario, Canada. Um, Maine has issues. We had a guy from Maine, two couple people. Lots of problems with the Department of Maine. Wow. This is over on the west side of Canada. Vancouver Island sees Indigenous push for child welfare code. There is Indigenous tribes in Canada. They're called the First Nation people. We call our Indigenous tribes here the Native American Indian. And so I've been up to Vancouver Island. There's all kinds of disease and oh boy. Indigenous people around the world, like the indigenous Maoris in New Zealand and in Australia, we have the indigenous tribes there too. It says here fragments of broken pottery and glass lie scattered along the remote beaches of Smith and Seymour Inlets on the British Columbia coast. The remains of once lively village that belonged to the Gaswela and the Nakwa people, already ravaged by colonial diseases, the residential school system, and the over industrialization of fishing and logging on their traditional territory. The federal government gave both nations the choice to relocate to a reserve on Vancouver Island where they were told they would receive homes, jobs, and health care. That sounds nice. In 1964, hundreds of members of both nations moved to the Tasquet Reserve, nearly at the northwest tip of Vancouver Island near Port Hardy. I've been up to Long Beach, Vancouver, and did some surfing up there, where they met with only three unfinished homes. Huh. Only three homes, no running water, racist townspeople, and nowhere to moor their boats. Some attempt to go back to their villages. Some attempt to go back, but they had been torched by the government. As a result of years of trauma and oppressive patriotism in the decades that followed, the reserve was devastated by poverty, drug, and alcohol use, which resulted in hundreds of children being taken into government custody. In the 1970s and 80s, upwards of 70% of their children were apprehended. Sally Susko, executive director of the Gupta Family Services, his organization that handles child welfare jurisdiction for the nations, recalled and her siblings being taken by government at a young age. My dad was a logger, so he was away in the camp most of the time. He came home from camp and all three of his daughters were gone, and he had no idea where they were. He had no idea who to ask. There was no card, no social worker, no note, no nothing, she added. That both her sisters were adopted out, with one ending up in Mississippi while the Cisco lived in multiple foster home placements for the first 8 years of her life. She described struggling with identity and her connection to her culture through her life as she spent formative years living with white families before being returned to her parents and reserved on a last chance order through the courts. I feel I'll never ever feel like I'm 100% because my identity's gone. I don't know how to get it back. Every one of us carries around the weight of trauma, the weight of pain, and weight of neglect. It's there. It's embedded in our history. It's projected to go back from this. Though she returned to her family and community and has managed to graduate school and build a career, many other members did not get the chance. You go down into Port Hardy and you see many people that are homeless. A lot of them are from the Gaswan tribe, and a lot of them aged out of care. And just like me, they're lost their sense of identity, she said. Known for sprawling rainforests, pristine coastlines, remote fishing, and logging towns north of Vancouver Island, also some of the highest rates of children in care in the province. Vancouver Island kids were considered children and youth in care, with almost 70% of them being indigenous, many of which come from the Kalawaka tribes along the northeast coast of Vancouver Island. So the ministry has changed. They collect data. The former port service, which includes Tofino and the Utsulet, had the second highest rate in the province, with 173 children in care. The highest rated children in care in British Columbia is in Port Hardy, which includes Tachowitz, where 32 for every 1,000 children were in government custody. Jennifer Charlesworth, the British Columbia representative for children and youth, explained how rural communities can higher rates of children. Many very small communities that were very resource-based, like in the North Island, very high poverty and lack of attachment. So you get these complication situations which ends up to the family. It's a 45-minute ferry ride from Port McGill. Comrade Island sits with a sprawling, burning archipelago, dotted with vibrant color houses, remote coastline. The pictured island is home to the Nabgais First Nation. So what's happened is that all the indigenous people in the Vancouver area, Vancouver Island, has had a terrible, terrible time with their identity, with the children. I mean, it's just amazing how other parts of the world have big problems too. They do. Uh, um, we have Dorothy Cook. She says her daughter was removed from my custody unjustly. Family court corruption must be stopped. I'm sad to hear about that, Dorothy. Dorothy further says animals had rights before children did, and they used animal rights to put children rights in place originally. That's an interesting concept, Dorothy. Also, Dorothy says originally children of color were considered property, not humans. Well, yeah, the black race was property. It was the property of the slave owners that took very good people from Africa and they used them as slaves. They've been used by the Egyptians as slaves. The black people have been long-time slaves, and it's wrong to think just because of color their society is as bad as it is. But anyway, I've now reached my time of 1 hour. Actually, I've gone over really further. I didn't realize I went over that far. But I want to thank you all for listening. And thank you, Dorothy Cook from North Carolina, for your expressions and your emoji. Thank you, Daniel Watt from Georgia. Thank you for your support and continued support. And Lenore Beatrice McDonald, I don't know where you're from, but I got your message and it was displayed, and I'm glad you came in. And I want to thank all my listeners and all my support. And I'll be on again at 10 o'clock to help you. Remember, I'm here to help you. All you have to do is ask me. Now, I'm going back to making phone calls, so if any of you are interested in hiring Mr. Davis or retaining Mr. Davis, please call in at 626-698-0990. I'll take your call. I'll help you with your agreement and the cost of it. All you do is call in 626-698. I'll be working to approximately 1:30 today, right after I end this live stream. So God bless you all and have um, a blessed day, and I'll see you tonight. This is Bob Pace signing.